So she walked away. Maybe she said she needed space, maybe she lost feelings, or maybe she just disappeared without explanation. Either way, the moment a woman pulls away, most men panic. They start chasing, overthinking, texting too much, or trying to prove their worth. And that's exactly what pushes her further away. This video is about flipping that script. It's about understanding what really happens in her mind when she walks away, and what makes her come running back when you stay grounded in your power. See, when a woman leaves, she's not just testing you emotionally. She's watching how you handle yourself without her. Women are drawn to strength, not words. They pay attention to energy, not desperation. When you detach, refocus on your purpose, and stop seeking her validation, something powerful happens. Her perception of you changes. You go from being the man chasing her to the man she starts thinking about again, wondering if she made a mistake. This video isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't lose himself just because someone walked away. That mindset, calm, focused, self-assured, is what pulls her back faster than any text or apology ever could. Because attraction isn't about convincing her to stay, it's about reminding her of the kind of man she once felt lucky to have. So if she walked away, don't react emotionally. You're going to learn how to handle it like a man who understands female psychology, with control, confidence, and quiet power. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do when she leaves, and more importantly, how to make her want to come back. Not because you begged for it, but because your presence speaks louder than any words ever could.
1. Control your energy. Don't chase her attention. When she walks away, the first instinct for most men is panic. You start replaying every conversation in your head, trying to figure out what went wrong. You feel that sinking feeling in your chest, that loss of control. And before you know it, you're checking her social media, wondering who she's with, or texting her just to get a reaction. That's the moment where most men lose their power. Because the truth is, she didn't walk away just to disappear. She walked away to see who you become without her. What most men don't realize is that women can feel energy more than they hear words. When you start chasing, your energy shifts from confidence to neediness. You go from being the man she respected to the man she feels she's above. And once that happens, attraction dies. But when you stay calm, when you don't react emotionally, when you don't beg, argue, or try to prove anything, she starts questioning her own decision. That silence, that calmness, speaks louder than anything you could say. The strongest thing a man can do when a woman walks away is to do nothing. Not out of pride, but out of self-respect. You must remember that you were a man before she showed up, and you'll still be a man after she's gone. When you stop trying to control how she feels and start focusing on controlling how you feel, you take back your power. That shift in mindset is magnetic. It changes your tone, your posture, your presence. And women notice that more than any text you could send. When you maintain emotional control, you become unpredictable in the best way. She expects you to react. She expects you to chase. But when you don't, she starts thinking about you differently. She starts wondering if you've moved on, if you've found someone else, or if she misjudged your value. That curiosity, that uncertainty, that's what reignites her attraction. So instead of chasing her energy, redirect yours. Hit the gym, focus on your goals, rebuild your routine, and reconnect with your purpose. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, you're silently rebuilding your dominance. Not over her, but over yourself. That's what real strength looks like. Understand this. She left because she thought she could. But when she sees that her absence doesn't shake you, she'll realize she lost more than she thought. That's when the shift happens. That's when she starts coming back. Not because you pulled her, but because you became the kind of man who doesn't chase what walks away. 2. Play the long game. Not the emotional sprint. When she walks away, most men treat it like the game is over, but in reality, it's only halftime. Think of it like being down on the scoreboard. The crowd's against you, your opponent looks confident, and your emotions are running high. That's the moment where boys fold and real players stay calm. In relationships, just like in sports, the man who can control his emotions under pressure always wins in the long run. You have to understand something. When she pulls away, she's not ending the game. She's testing your composure. Most men make the mistake of treating rejection like a knockout punch. They chase, overreact, or try to score immediately by getting her attention back. But the alpha mindset works differently. You're not playing for a quick emotional reaction. You're playing for dominance, respect, and long-term attraction. That means you don't chase points. You build momentum. In sports, a good coach will tell his players that when things fall apart, you don't panic. You stick to your fundamentals. You control the pace. You trust your training. The same applies to this situation. Your training is your discipline. Your ability to stay calm, stay silent, and stay focused on your mission. She's expecting chaos. She's expecting emotional mistakes. But when you stay composed and focused on your purpose, you completely throw her off her game plan. Think of yourself like an athlete who's been benched. You're not out of the game. You're just being given time to improve, to refocus, to come back stronger. Use that time wisely. Work on your mindset, your confidence, your appearance, and your purpose. When she sees that you didn't fall apart, that you didn't beg for her validation, she starts questioning her move. Just like a team that thought they had the win locked, now she starts feeling the pressure. Every woman respects a man who can take a loss like a champion. Because confidence isn't built when things are easy. It's built when things fall apart and you stay composed. You don't have to chase her. You just have to show through your actions that you're unshaken. That energy, calm, unbothered, and focused, is what makes her want to come back. Remember, attraction is not a sprint. You don't win by reacting fast, you win by staying consistent. You don't rush the play, you let the game come to you. When you operate with that patience, with that quiet confidence, you become the man she can't forget. Because while most men lose themselves when the pressure hits, you're the man who stays ready, the one who always finishes strong. 3. The scenario. When she pulls away, don't break. Frame picture this. You've been seeing a woman for a while. Things felt solid, the chemistry was strong, the conversations flowed, and she seemed all in. Then suddenly something shifts. Her texts slow down. She becomes distant. She's not as affectionate. Maybe she says she's confused or needs time to think. You can feel her slipping away, and that's when panic sets in. This is the point where most men make their biggest mistake. They sense that emotional distance and start chasing it. They double text. They over-explain. They try to fix things that don't even need fixing. And in doing so, they lose the very thing that made them attractive in the first place. Their composure. In that moment, what you do next decides everything. You can either react emotionally and prove her right for walking away, or stay calm and make her question if she's making a mistake. The man who understands female psychology knows that women often pull away not to end things, but to see who you are without her approval. She wants to see if you'll crumble or stay centered. That's what she's testing, because your frame. Let's say she tells you, "I just need some space." The weak response is to argue, plead, or try to convince her otherwise. The powerful response is simple. Take all the time you need. Then silence. You don't chase. You don't check in. You let her feel the absence of your energy. That silence becomes your leverage. Because while she's expecting drama, you give her peace. And that peace makes her curious. Here's what happens next. The first few days, she feels relieved. Then a week goes by, and that relief turns into curiosity. She checks your page, wondering what you're doing. You're not posting sadness or bitterness. You're moving forward, focused, composed. That's when the tables turn. She starts to miss the energy she once took for granted. She starts realizing that walking away didn't make her happier. It just reminded her what it feels like to lose a man who didn't need her validation. That's the power of emotional control. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about showing that your world doesn't collapse because one person left it. You're not punishing her. You're simply living with purpose. That's what separates men who get respected from those who get replaced. So the next time you're in that scenario, remember this. Calmness is your weapon. Detachment is your strength. The moment you stop chasing, she starts thinking. And when she starts thinking, that's when she starts coming back. 4. Understand her psychology. Why she walked away to win the game? You have to understand the rules. The same applies here. You can't handle a woman walking away if you don't understand what's happening inside her mind when she does it. Most men see rejection as an emotional punishment, but in reality, it's often a test of perception, not a declaration of finality. See, women are emotional by nature. They're drawn to stability, but also curious about power. When she walks away, she's not always certain about her choice. In many cases, it's her way of seeing how much influence she actually has over you. She wants to know, are you the kind of man who falls apart when she pulls back? Or are you the kind of man who stays grounded no matter what? That's where attraction either deepens or dies. When you react emotionally, begging, chasing, or over-explaining, you confirm her suspicion that you're emotionally dependent. But when you stay calm, composed, and confident, she sees something very few men have: emotional discipline. And that's what triggers respect. You can't attract or keep a woman without respect. Here's the thing most men miss. When she distances herself, it's not always about you doing something wrong. Sometimes she's overwhelmed. Sometimes her emotions are scattered. Other times she just wants to feel your absence to understand your value. A woman can only miss what's gone, not what's constantly available. That's why silence and self-focus are so powerful. You're giving her the emotional space to re-feel the attraction that routine made her forget. You must also understand that women are instinctively drawn to strength, not dominance in the toxic sense, but inner strength. The kind of calm confidence that says, I want you, but I don't need you. That's masculine energy. That's what gives her both safety and excitement. When she senses that you can walk away too, not out of anger, but self-respect, she starts to see you differently. You stop being an option and become the standard. Educate yourself on this truth. Attraction is emotional, not logical. You can't argue a woman into staying, but you can inspire her to come back by showing her something rare: control, consistency, and confidence. She doesn't come back because you said the right words. She comes back because your energy reminds her of what she can't find anywhere else. So when she walks away, don't chase understanding. Be the understanding. Know her psychology, respect her emotions, and let time do its work. Because a man who understands women doesn't chase their behavior, he masters his response to it. And that's what brings her running back. 5. The harsh truth. Women respect distance more than affection. Here's where most men get it completely wrong. They think the more love, attention, and effort they give, the more a woman will value them. But in reality, it's often the opposite. The moment she feels you're emotionally dependent on her presence, her attraction starts to fade. Women don't fall for men who smother them with affection. They fall for men who make them feel something they can't easily control. And that feeling doesn't come from comfort. It comes from distance. This might sound controversial, but women respect the man who can walk away more than the one who never would. Affection without boundaries turns into weakness in her eyes. She doesn't consciously want to lose interest. It's psychological. The moment she feels she can predict you, control you, or emotionally manipulate your actions, her instinct tells her she's no longer with a leader. She's with a follower. And no woman is truly attracted to a man she feels she can lead. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't about playing cold or pretending not to care. It's about balance. When you pull back, when you create space, it triggers something deep inside her: curiosity, uncertainty, and renewed attraction. Because deep down, every woman wants to feel she's with a man who chooses her out of desire, not need. That difference changes everything. Think about it. When you were mysterious, focused on your goals, and not overly available, that's when she was chasing you the most. But once you made her your world, she stopped trying. Why? Because human nature, especially female psychology, values what's scarce and questions what's certain. The less she feels your presence, the more she starts thinking about it. The more you pull away, the more her emotions start chasing your energy again. That's why the men who get women chasing again aren't the ones who try harder. They're the ones who stop trying altogether. They focus on improving themselves, building their lifestyle, and becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to prove his worth through attention. That shift in focus is what makes her feel your absence on an emotional level. So yes, affection matters, but respect matters more. And in female psychology, respect always comes from distance, not dependency. The moment she realizes she doesn't have full control over your attention, you become valuable again. She starts missing you, craving the validation she used to get from you so easily. That's when she starts coming back. Not because you begged her, but because she finally feels what you felt when she left. The pull of wanting what you can't fully have. 6. What you must do when she walks away. Now that you understand the psychology and the power of distance, let's get practical. What do you actually do when she walks away? Because this is where most men lose control. They understand the concept but fail in execution. They know they shouldn't chase, yet they can't resist checking her stories or sending that "just seeing how you're doing" text. That's emotional weakness disguised as care, and it kills attraction instantly. So here's what you do. First, accept it. Don't fight reality. Face it. The moment she walks away, you say to yourself, it is what it is. That acceptance puts you back in control. It separates emotional men from disciplined men. You stop living in reaction and start operating from decision. And your decision is simple. I will not chase. I will not fold. I will not lose myself trying to keep someone who left me. Second, go silent. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Don't send messages, don't watch her stories, don't post out of spite. True detachment isn't pretending, right? It's being genuinely fine with the space. This is where you start rebuilding your masculine frame. You remind yourself who you were before her. The man with a vision, a mission, and a life that didn't revolve around one person's validation. Next, reinvest your energy. Every ounce of emotion you were pouring into her, pour it back into yourself. Hit the gym harder, dress better, fix your sleep, level up your goals. This isn't just about looking strong, it's about becoming stronger. Because when she checks back in, and believe me, she will, she shouldn't find the same man she left. She should find a version that's grown sharper, calmer, and more confident in his purpose. Fourth, be unbothered. If she reaches out, respond like a man who's busy living, not waiting. Be polite, be composed, but never be overly available. Your energy should say, I'm open, but I'm not waiting. Again, that balance between interest and independence is what reignites her attraction. Lastly, learn from it. Every experience is feedback. Ask yourself not where did I lose my frame? Where did I start chasing instead of leading? Growth comes from awareness. You don't become stronger by never losing. You become stronger by refusing to stay weak after the loss. So when she walks away, don't collapse. Recalibrate. The man who masters silent self-control and self-focus doesn't just get women back. He becomes the kind of man women don't walk away from in the first place. That's the mindset shift that turns heartbreak into power. 7. The comeback. When you rise, she returns. Here's the part that most men don't see coming. When you finally stop trying to get her back, that's when she feels your absence the most. It's almost ironic. The moment you shift your focus from her to you, the dynamic flips. Suddenly, she starts noticing your silence, your glow-up, your change in energy. And the very thing that once pushed her away starts pulling her back in. Think about it. Women are emotional creatures. They don't respond to logic. They respond to feeling. When you were chasing her, she felt pressure. When you pulled back, she felt peace. But when you started growing without her, she felt curiosity. And that curiosity quickly turns into attraction when she sees you leveling up. It's not about revenge, it's about presence. Your growth becomes the loudest message you'll ever send. Picture this, a few weeks or months go by and you're thriving. You've been consistent in the gym, you're dressing sharper, you're focused on your mission again. You're not posting out of emotion, you're just living. That kind of energy radiates confidence and women sense it instantly. It's magnetic. She might start liking your posts, messaging you casually, or asking mutual friends how you're doing. But this time, the power dynamic is different. You're not the same man she left behind. You've evolved. Now here's where you need to stay sharp. When she comes back, don't drop your frame. Most men get excited and immediately go back to the same patterns that made her lose interest in the first place. Don't. The version of you that attracted her again is the one that didn't chase, didn't beg, and didn't need her approval. Stay that man. Keep your focus on your purpose first and her second. If she's genuinely interested, she'll adjust to your new energy, not the other way around. And here's the interesting truth. Sometimes, by the time she realizes what she lost, you've outgrown her completely. That's the real victory. Because the point isn't to make her come back. It's to become so complete within yourself that whether she does or not, you're good either way. That's where freedom begins. The comeback isn't about proving anything. It's about becoming the kind of man who can lose someone and still rise higher. The kind of man who doesn't chase love, he attracts it by living at his highest potential. Once you become that man, everything changes. Not just your relationships, but your life. Because power isn't about control, it's about calm. And when you master that, everyone, including her, feels it. When she walks away, it's not the end. It's your opportunity to rise. The way you respond defines your value as a man. Stay calm, stay focused, and let your silence speak louder than your emotions. Don't chase her energy. Master your own. Because the moment you shift your focus from her to your purpose, everything changes. She'll either come back drawn to your strength, or you'll attract someone better because of it. Either way, you win. Remember, real power isn't about controlling her. It's about controlling yourself. That's what makes a man truly unforgettable.